An interesting night really for both sides. One of those changes for Chelsea, Kepa Arrizabalaga, as starting in goal this evening. Of course, he's been the main man in the FA Cup through the rounds. The final, of course, this Saturday against Leicester, 5:15 kick-off. And maybe Thomas Tuchel's given him the chance to sharpen himself up for that game at Wembley. Or has he changed tack and potentially going with Edouard Mendy? I'll run you through the sides then. 7 changes for Chelsea. Kepa one of those, while Thiago Silva, Kurt Zouma, Ben Chilwell, Jorginho, Mason Mount and Kai Havertz also start for Thomas Tuchel's men. Usual 3-4-3 for them. Arrizabalaga in goal, Azpilicueta, Silva and Zouma the back three. Reece James, Ben Chilwell, the two marauding wing-backs with Jorginho and Billy Gilmour in the middle of the park. Mason Mount, Christian Pulisic and Kai Havertz up front. Arsenal, meanwhile, have made 5 changes from the team that beat West Brom at the weekend. Kieran Tierney's back, which is always good news, while Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang will get there in the end. Also starts in attack. 4-2-3-1 for them. Bernd Leno in goal. Back four, Holding, Gabriel, Mari and Tierney. Partey and Elneny in the middle of the park with Saka, Odegaard and Smith Rowe supporting Aubameyang. The Gunners have had the better of things so far, I have to say. I'm still trying to figure out if they are a back four with Saka as a right back. It is a bit of a strange setup from Mikel Arteta's men. Emile Smith Rowe now on the halfway line. Scored his first goal for the club in the Premier League, at least, against the Baggies at the weekend, as Thomas Partey now under a bit of pressure from Billy Gilmour. Works it to Martin Odegaard. Doubt over his future, of course, on loan from Chelsea. No, Real Madrid, rather, as things stand. And talk that he could be going back to Madrid. Uncertainty, of course, there. With his future, with Madrid's finances, the main protagonist, I think it's fair to say, in the push for the European Super League, because Florentino Perez said that the club are going to struggle for signings this summer just because of a lack of funds, and Super League would have been a potential avenue to generate them. As Rob Holding, unfamiliar right back role for the Arsenal skipper this evening, works it across to Gabriel. And now Mari gives it away, wasteful from the Spaniard. James picks it up, Gilmour, 23 on his back, turns and goes, finds Pulisic, Jorginho in acres of space in the middle of the park. Works it back to James now. Tierney will give chase, lays it off the feet of Tierney, out for a throw, cannoned off the corner flag. James now looking for his options, goes short to Kai Havertz. 2 recent goals, of course, against Fulham a couple of weekends ago. Excellent against Crystal Palace too. Really finding his feet in English football now, isn't he, Kai Havertz? Jorginho, once moving in front of him, goes sideways in the end, and Zouma on the halfway line. Works it to Mason Mount. Jorginho now, just pulling the strings. Strokes it wide to Azpilicueta. Gilmour, Azpilicueta again, back to Thiago Silva. Now Andreas Christensen this evening. I think Thomas Tuchel, in an ideal world, would have liked to rest Thiago Silva this evening. But needs must at the moment for the Blues. I mentioned those 7 changes. Tuchel keen to manage his squad. Good play by Zouma down the left-hand side. Finds Chilwell. Round the corner is Pulisic, back into Mount, goes for goal, low effort, comfortably saved in the end by Bernd Leno. But nonetheless, a smart effort from Mount, as Leno looks to set Kieran Tierney off, but the ball is too strong, out for a throw to Chelsea in their right back area. Yes, it does look like Bukayo Saka is playing as a right wing back, which is, and he's very versatile, of course, but not necessarily his natural role, I think it's fair to say. As Havertz holds it up, James just drills it into Thiago Silva, the middle of the back three. a spare man, if you like. Zouma. Chilwell's touch is a touch heavy. But retains possession. Now Jorginho. You wonder maybe if Saka's playing in that role. Try and keep tabs on Chilwell. Stop him going forward. Make him do a bit of defending, the England man. Gilmour just gets a touch, and Chelsea finding their composure now. Gilmour. Central is Jorginho. Gilmour again. They'll be looking here to a potential shot at the Euros with Scotland in the summer. Zouma, Mount wants it, doesn't get in, throws his arms up in frustration as the 22-year-old. Now Silva switches the play and Mount's patience is rewarded. Runs at Saka down the left-hand side, gets the cross in, it's headed away by Holding. Saka clears at the second attempt. Zouma, though, controls. And you have to say, it's all Chelsea at the moment. Gilmour, Jorginho, for once caught in possession. Well played by Thomas Partey. Just had too much for the Italian international. Brazil-born, of course, Jorginho. Arsenal number 18 stepping in and winning possession. The Gunners, well, they've been written off a few times this season. They've not been higher than 8th since November, I was reading earlier, but they are unbeaten in 3, 2 Premier League wins against Newcastle and West Brom. In the middle of that, a 0-0 against Villarreal, which saw them go out of the Europa League. They finish with this game, then Crystal Palace away from home. A week today, in fact, next Wednesday. And then Brighton at home at the Emirates. They played a game more than a lot of their rivals, and you feel they've got to win them all if they're going to sneak into those European places. 25 straight seasons in Europe for the Gunners. Coming to an end this season as Aubameyang just creeps offside. The assistant referee on the near side with his flag up. Andre Mariner is the official this evening. Incidentally, as Chilwell just opens up his body, feeds it down the line to Mount. In fact, no, it's Havertz, tall, elegant figure. Pablo Mari just edges him out of the play. Odegaard holding. Mari, the Spaniard, getting a run in the side after some rotten luck with injuries. Emile Smith-Rowe, as always, socks round his ankle, still goalless if you just join us into the 9th minute. It's unofficial off-tube studio commentary as Aubameyang breaks down the right-hand side. Silva gets himself in between Aubameyang and the goal. Down the line to Saka. Odegaard now, right edge of the box. No, offside. They see either Saka or Aubameyang. They want to let the play run, of course, the assistants these days, haven't they? So, just seeing it again. I think Aubameyang will have been onside. Just having the run of Saka. Yeah, he's just about... His right foot was offside. And yellow boots this evening. Bukayo Saka, incidentally Chelsea. Usual royal blue shirts and shorts, white socks. Arsenal, red shirts with white trim, white shorts and red socks. Odegaard down the right hand side, whips it in. Away though by Silva. Into an excellent position. Now was happy to head it away for a throw around about level with the edge of the Chelsea box. The Blues, as we look at it, it's an official off-tube studio commentary going right to left in the first half. Saka tries to cross. Jorginho is there though. Will clear long to Havertz, who controls, but illegally, according to Mr. Mariner, the referee, on his arm. I think he chested it down. Then he hit his arm, aiding his control. Arsenal get on with it short. Chance maybe for them to put the ball in the box a few times this evening, you feel, for the Gunners. Gabriel Mari and Rob Holding all in there. Oh, that's a poor ball by Gabriel. Havertz has got there ahead of Mari. He's running through. On goal. What about with Leno? Finishes over the crossbar. Oh, he looked too cool there, Kai Havertz. And his finish leaning back. Just chipped it over. Huge sigh of relief from Pablo Mari. He seemed to step back. I don't think the ball was that bad from Gabriel, actually. Havertz stole in there. Oh, he got it all wrong, though. Best we've seen of the game, though. Yeah, he was on his heels there, Mari. And Havertz, give you due to Leno, I suppose. He came down, narrowed the angle. Central position, though. Just seemed to stab at the ball, Havertz, rather than try and roll it home. Let off for Arsenal. Stake Mari there. Leno's goal kick is a long one. What I was saying before was maybe a chance for the Gunners to try something to be a bit more direct, especially from set pieces. Mari, Gabriel, Holding, Partey, Elneny. All 6-footers, aren't they? So you think they'd want to get in the box. Kieran Tierney as well. A candidate when it comes to attacking the ball aerially. Seeing a few shots of the subs. Both Timo Werner and Olivier Giroud will probably have fancied themselves to put that chance away. We've just seen Havertz miss the best of the game so far, the only one of the game so far, I'd say. That's good chasing down by Aubameyang, and a corner kick to Arsenal, first of the game from the far side. And we'll see what the plan is here. Both Gabriel and Pablo Mari coming up in deep discussion. Mari suggesting he wanted to take it across his body. That would have been a big mistake, as if he didn't get away with it already. Saka, short ball from Odegaard. Now Tierney has to go down the line. He'll do well to get something here. Gets the ball across, but Silva away at the near post. High hanging clearance up towards the halfway line. I think the defenders who came forward would have been a bit frustrated there. We see Mikel Arteta prowling his technical area. Interesting summer ahead. The word is that he'll be staying at Arsenal. I think they'll want a few more players. Elneny now. Odegaard round the corner to Thomas Partey. Into Saka. He can turn. Brought Chilwell in with him. Narrow from Chelsea. Odegaard's ball deflects to Holding across the box. It's high and over everybody. Tierney will pick it up at the back post. Drops the shoulder. Goes past James. Good play. Searching ball towards the back post. Holding's there. Well played, Ben Chilwell. Gets the header away. Had the ball already gone out. Offside in amongst all that, in fact. And the play is diffused, but at the same point, that was good play by Arsenal. Best we've seen so far. Remains goalless in the game at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea against Arsenal. Of course, offsides have been the feature of the day so far, especially for Arsenal. 3 already. The only chance we've had was one for Chelsea. Kai Havertz in this false 9 role broke onto a ball. It was a poor pass by Gabriel back to Pablo Mari. It was a poor pass, but equally Mari wasn't on his toes. He was a bit on his heels, and well, he got away with it. Havertz nipped in there, one-on-one, too much pace for Mari retreating. Leno did well, narrowed the angle. Havertz over the crossbar against his fellow German. It wasn't a great finish. He seemed to stab at the ball rather than try and caress it past Leno. And Arsenal kept that clean sheet. Not convincing though. They have looked a bit better going forward, but I have to say the assistance flag has not been their friend. Still goalless. And Arsenal coming forward again. Gilmour now Partey plays the ball off. Gilmour goes for a interesting ball, I think it's fair to say. But Reece James was there to tidy things up. That's Pulisic, Jorginho now. Back to Silva, who just sprays it wide. Oh, so classy, isn't he? Thiago Silva always seems to have time with the ball. I remember watching him against West Ham earlier in the season. The ball will go forward for West Ham. He'd look straight at the linesman, knowing it was offside. Oh, Jorginho, no! Oh, what a save by Kepa. Ball still in play. Back to Emile Smith-Rowe, in off the post. Nightmare for Chelsea. What was that by Jorginho? Head in his hands. That was absolutely out of nothing. The ball was played to Jorginho. Kepa had come out of his goal. He'd come out of his goal, so he wasn't in the middle of his post. So if he was past it, it wasn't going to go in the goal. Jorginho played in. Kepa, wonderful retreating save, you have to say. Kepa wanted off Zuma. He wanted an easy ball back. It was a poor touch by Jorginho. Kepa did well to keep the ball out initially. Then back to Aubameyang. Oh, no, Jorginho. Poor play by the Italian. It's 1-0 to Arsenal. 1-0 to Arsenal, and I have to say, it's a calamity from Chelsea. Jorginho is the culprit. Emile Smith-Rowe with the goal. All looked under control from the Blues. Passing it out. Kepa just moved to the outside of his goal so he could receive the ball from Zouma. Zouma instead went inside to Jorginho. Jorginho's first touch was heavy and he turned without looking, played it back straight into the middle of his own goal. Kepa did exceptionally well, scrambling back, got it off the line, got it wide as well. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang had to scurry wide and make a bit of space. He did so. Chelsea was slow getting back. He knocked it back to his teammate, Emile Smith-Rowe. It wasn't a tidy finish, I have to say, by the Croydon De Bruyne, but nonetheless, it crept in off the inside of the post. Arsenal lead 1-0. Oh, wow. I've got a feeling the analysts will be looking at that ahead of Saturday's Cup final. That was one of those moments where it kind of takes your breath away, I suppose. And, well, Jorginho, he was right to try and hide. Probably a good that the fans aren't there for his sake this evening. That was a real blunder from the Italian. He'll no doubt shake it off there. That's one of the great things about players at this level, isn't it? A lot of them just are able to move on, not dwell on mistakes. Thiago Silva now back to Kepa Arrizabalaga. Rain looks like it's starting to come down in West London. Another narrative, I suppose, of the upcoming Champions League finalists. Thiago Silva finally going to get that medal, of course, losing finalist against Bayern Munich with Paris Saint-Germain last season. Joined Chelsea on a free. That final game for PSG was the final. And the spills with AC Milan, of course, 7 years in fact with PSG. Has played to still wants that medal. Here comes Mount. Can he equalise Chelsea? No. Shows too much of it Holding. And then fouls at Bukayo Saka. Arsenal get on with it quickly as well. Odegaard, oh, lovely ball, just swept it between Gilmour and Jorginho. Smith-Rowe, then Gabriel into part. It's all a bit tight. Azpilicueta gets a foot in there. Then Pulisic heads in and blocks Gabriel's clearance. Azpilicueta, Reece James, not the greatest ball back to Jorginho. Has to go backwards and retreat the Chelsea number 5 now rolls it to Gilmour. Gilmour opens his body and finds James. This is where he wants to be, just on the outside of Tierney. Instead went inside Pulisic, I think it is, who's got a problem. He is limping, the American. Yes, it is. Number 10 on his back. Left leg. Not sure if it's a muscle or a joint issue. Doesn't look comfortable. And the man who scored in last season's FA Cup final defeat against Arsenal will of course be desperate to carry on. 19.5 on the clock. Rob Holding with a throw in the Arsenal right back position. A couple of steps forward, a skip and down the line, met by Chilwell. Odegaard. Arteta wants a foul, but Jorginho, you can tell by his body language, is a man on a mission after that blunder that's let Arsenal take the lead. Emile Smith-Rowe with the goal. Gilmour now, central position, just rolls it to Azpilicueta. Reece James back in the side. Square ball from Gilmour to Jorginho. Jorginho again doesn't look, gives it away. Pablo Mari. Thomas Partey finds Odegaard. Odegaard can charge. He's got Saka down his right hand side. Instead goes forward. Aubameyang overruns it. Jorginho now. A frantic air to the Blues at the moment. Fabulous record, of course, they've got under Thomas Tuchel, but 7 changes is never easy, is it, to handle? And yeah, just not quite clicking for Chelsea. Arsenal pressing well. Zouma down the line, searching ball into Havertz, who had the Blues' best chance of the game so far, firing over the crossbar from a one-on-one with Bernd Leno. Last time I saw Leno was that error against Everton. But looks to have regained his confidence. Conceded just once since then. That effort against by West Brom last time out. That's in the Premier League at least, as Thomas Tuchel deep in thought in the dugout. Holding, plays it forward over everyone though. Azpilicueta retreats, controls, turns and goes. Square to Thiago Silva. Kurt Zouma is his option. Finds the Frenchman. He'll be hoping for a spot of the Euros, of course, this summer. Plenty of central defensive options, of course, for France, as they've got in every other position. Upamecano, Canate, Varane, Umtiti, Longley, Hernandez, Pavard, Zouma too. Pulisic looks better now. Back to Mount. Is it the equaliser? No, it comes off Rob Holding. Didn't know much about it, the Lancashireman. Got away with it. Here is Jorginho. Sweeps it wide. Kurt Zouma. Billy Gilmour now picks up possession. Reece James wide on the right-hand side. Pulisic looked a bit sprightlier there after picking up that knock. Just looking at him now, not 100%, I have to say. Zouma. All of Chelsea's outfield players in the Arsenal half, but Arsenal showing a good shape at the moment. Everyone's got the man. Almost a 5-4-1 without the ball, with Aubameyang the furthest one forward. I say that 40 yards from his own goal. Reece James slaloms past a couple of challenges, still going. The England man works it wide to Pulisic. Standing start for the American. Tries the cross. Smith Rowe sticks to his task and gets the block in. Throw into Chelsea on the far side, going right to left in this first half. Unofficial off-tube studio commentary. And Aubameyang's got a problem. Oh yeah, he's cut his lip there. Maybe caught in a challenge. Andre Mariner tells him he's got to go off and get that sorted. We are past the halfway stage of this opening half, incidentally. Aubameyang, the Arsenal captain. Gabon international. Just seeing that Mount chance again. Nice play, Azpilicueta. Pulisic back to Mount. Ooh, just that hit Rob Holding's hand. No one complains for Chelsea, incidentally. Just seeing it again. Oh, I'm sure VAR will have had a look at that. Either way, play on. It seemed to hit the palm of his hand. He tried to get it close to his body, but it was certainly away from it. And Chelsea might feel aggrieved there as Silva fizzes it forward, away by Saka. Zouma coming forward. Gilmour now curls the ball wide to Reece James. Gilmour down the line is Havertz, just trying to go in behind there. Well read by Gabriel though. Aubameyang's been cleaned up from that cut on his lip. And Arsenal restored 2-11, leading 1-0 the Gunners. Emile Smith-Rowe's goal, the difference from a mistake by Jorginho. And the big Arsenal will be very encouraged by what they've produced so far. Still 1-0 to Arsenal, in amongst the frenzy of the goal. I forgot to tell you about Chelsea's chances. The best one early on, Kai Havertz sent through one-on-one with Bernd Leno. It was a mistake by Pablo Mari. He was on his heels as Gabriel Magalhaes tried to pass it back to him. Havertz nipped in. He was one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Bernd Leno did well though, made himself big, and Havertz fired over the crossbar. Maybe, just maybe, he should have rolled it past the goalkeeper instead. Just after the goal, Mason Mount had an effort on target. Good play by Pulisic, who seems to have picked up a right ankle knock, I'm going to guess. And but he did well working down the right hand side with a nice play by Reece James. Crossing it back was Pulisic to Mason Mount on the penalty spot, fired towards goal on the volley. It looked like maybe it hit Rob Holding's hand. No interest though from either Andre Mariner or the VAR officials, and it remains Arsenal 1, Chelsea 0. Chelsea though dominating possession, searching ball towards Reece James. However, that's far too high, and out for a goal kick. Just seeing the the goal again. It's I don't know if our television colleagues suggesting maybe Kepa should have done better, but I thought Kepa did everything right, really. He was trying to alleviate any sort of danger by not being in the middle of his post. Jorginho knew it was his mistake. Kepa did well to get back. The Chelsea players were maybe just a bit slack to regain their positions. Mason Mount, no, Emile Smith-Rowe rather, bundling home with his left foot in off the inside of the post. And a good game so far, as you'd expect. Arsenal looking for their first win at Stamford Bridge since 2011. Robin Van Persie was the star of the show that day, exposing the high line preferred by Andre Villas-Boas. And yeah, gave John Terry a bit of a fright, I think it's fair to say, the Dutchman. As Thiago Silva, all of Chelsea's outfield players in the Arsenal half, going right to left the Blues. Kurt Zouma just rolls his foot over it and finds Jorginho. Jorginho into Havertz. Good touch by Havertz. Goes past one. Finds Mason Mount. Left footed shot. Great save. Leno diving to his left-hand side. And the ball just weaves its way between three Arsenal players. And the Gunners can come away with it. No, they can't. Party has given it away. Heavy touch. Gilmour smashed it against the Ghanaian as well. Chelsea throw. That was a good save by Bernd Leno there. Decent effort by Mason Mount. Leno springing to his left. As Mount has it again. Chilwell's on the outside, gives it to Mount, who's not been trapped by Elneny. Searching left-footed ball, tight angle though, comfortable for Leno, but it'd be good to see this save again. Jorginho fighting to Havertz. Havertz did well, then rolled it to Mount, right inside the left foot. Maybe with the laces he has a bit more power. And here's a good save though by Leno, springing to his left-hand side. And away from danger, Elneny and now Pablo Mari keep the ball between themselves. Leno, Elneny now holding him really coolly. Just Cruyff turns his way away from danger. Back to his goalkeeper Leno. Mari will find holding square. Odegaard can receive and turn. Just inside his own half square, ball to Elneny. Rare start for the Egyptian, but goes well when he plays, it seems. As Gabriel gives it away this time. Former Lille man, Lille going so well in Liga. Look like they're going to win the title, don't they? Signed from Les Dogs over the summer. As Emile Smith-Rowe just tries to slide it in towards Kieran Tierney, who's been quiet actually. Not had much service out there. Back in the side this evening. Emile Smith-Rowe, a real regular, isn't he? The Croydon De Bruyne, as they call him. The second Premier League goal for him after breaking his Premier League duck against West Brom in the 3-1 victory over the weekend. Zouma into Mason Mount, under pressure from Holding. Mount gives it away. Saka with the interception, but the ball just trundles out for a throw. Chilwell back to Zouma. And now Kepa rolls it back to Azpilicueta. Pulisic seems to have shaken off that. Not good to see for the American. Thiago Silva will go forward, just drops his right foot underneath the ball, and over both Havertz and Mari, but Havertz will recover possession. Azpilicueta, Reece James, inside ball to Havertz. Havertz, Mason Mount, all a bit tight at the moment. 1-2 between those two. Havertz looks to go past Mari, but the Spaniard makes a good tackle. Kieran Tierney can clear his lines, but there's no one up there at the moment. Happy to sit deep, Arsenal. 5-4-1 without the ball. Aubameyang, the furthest man forward, but not too far forward, I have to say. Chilwell, Gilmour, just chips it over the top, looking for the run of Chilwell, and all Holding can do is knock it out for a corner kick to Chelsea. Thumbs up from Billy Gilmour. Mason Mount comes across to take it. Gilmore's one of those who's gone into the box. Zonal marking from Arsenal. Line of red shirts on the 6-yard area. Party mark Zuma. Towards the back post. Zuma gets up. Pablo Mari over the top by Pulisic. It was an awkward angle for the American. He was trying to nod it back across goal, I think. Yes, it was. I think Mari, he was marking the zone that Pulisic was in. I think that might be a directive for Pulisic to stay there at the back post, because Mari was dragged in because Zuma had got over the top of Thomas Partey. But Pulisic failed to hit the target. Arsenal, though, they can't retain possession. As Zuma picks it up on the halfway line, will stroke it wide to Pulisic. The diminutive American, white boots for him this evening. Same colour for Chilwell. Knocks it back to Zuma. On the turn is Billy Gilmour. That's nice play. Fakes the turn, goes to the near side. Lost by Jorginho, who's just having one of those evenings at the moment. Zuma, now Gilmour. Thinks about going forward. Wants the option from Jorginho. Gets it back from the former Napoli man and scoops it into Havertz. Havertz does everything right, really. Nods it back into a decent area for an on-rushing midfield player. Wasn't really read there, I don't think. And away by Arsenal. But again, they're playing out short from the back. Almost inviting a bit of trouble with Gabriel's ball on the left-hand side. Working along the back line now. Odegaard going all the way back. Number 11 on his back will work it to Holding. Pablo Mari on his own penalty spot. The Spaniard. Oh, great footwork by Partey. Drops the shoulder and it gets away from Mount and Jorginho. But there's no forward ball at the moment for the Gunners. And they're having to play backwards and sideways a lot of the time. Holding now. Can bring it forward. Bukayo Saka's made ground on the right hand side. Odegaard is in between him and Holding. Goes right to left. El Neni will search out Gabriel. Tierney. Emil Smith-Rowe now on the turn. Gives it to El Neni. Now Odegaard. Partey. Saka wants it. Saka's getting frustrated. I think probably Kieran Tierney's in a similar boat, actually. Neither have had too much ball so far this evening. As Aubameyang drops short, gives it back to Odegaard. Saka again wants it, but no one's giving him the ball. Partey will go inside to Emil Smith-Rowe. Opens his body and finds Gabriel. Emil Smith-Rowe's continued his run. Gabriel keeps the ball, though. Makes good ground. Tierney back to El Neni. Partey can be square if they choose to use him. Mari into Holding. Almost into the 35th minute. Arsenal leading 1-0 at Stamford Bridge. And a first win at the ground since 2011. As well, Saka's growing frustrated. Odegaard's ball back to him wasn't the best. It allowed the tackle to come in. It actually came off of Saka. And a goal kick to Chelsea. Mikel Arteta barking out the orders. Just join us. Emil Smith-Rowe was the goal scorer on 14 minutes. It wasn't one off the training ground, though. Jorginho mistake. And Smith-Rowe knocking into the empty, unguarded net. As Kepa Arrizabalaga had to scramble back and field Jorginho's back pass. I looked like it was going to go straight into the goal. Here is Jorginho. Zooming out. Strides over the halfway line. Didn't fancy going forward, so went backwards. And Silva back to goalkeeper Kepa. He's been relatively untested, barring picking the ball out of the net. Gilmour now can open his body up and switches the play. Does that so well, doesn't he, Gilmour? Lets the body roll across his body. Lets the ball roll across his body, rather. Opens the play out quite nicely. Really tidy player, the young Scot. Here he is again. Certainly doesn't lack confidence as receives it again off Pulisic this time. And Pulisic, of course, they have to go backwards. Showing a bit of frustration there, the American. Azpilicueta. Mount. Reece James now. Havertz. Jorginho. Square to Gilmour. Chilwell. Pulisic around the corner. Chilwell continues run. Got the better of Saka as well. Feeds it across. Leno's there, and it's stabbed away, I think, by Elneny. Brave play. Poor play by Saka, and amongst that receives the commiserations almost from his teammates. It wasn't that convincing, I have to say, by Saka, who, as I mentioned, has had a tough old night so far. Mount will take this corner kick. In-swinger gets past the first man. It's a glancing header by Thiago Silva. The last touch, I think, came off Gabriel. Yes, so another corner kick for Chelsea on the other side this time. He'll be called up to take it. Will he go and in-swing it with the left foot? Just having a look at the way Arsenal are marking. Bukayo Saka's picking up Kai Havertz. There's a 6-inch height difference there. Mason Mount digs out the cross towards the back post. Zuma nods it back in towards the penalty spot. Silva's there, as is Gabriel, two Brazilians, both number 6 on the back, of course. Now Gilmour wraps his right foot around it. Away by Arsenal. Chilwell. Pulisic gets that step over, goes past Partey. Left-footed ball is not a bad one. Kieran Tierney deals with it. Partey makes the mistake. No, it's Bukayo Saka who makes the mistake. Eventually makes amends by having too much for Azpilicueta. Wins Arsenal a throw-in. Anyway, not quite happening for the young man this evening. Arsenal still leading 1-0 at Stamford Bridge. The Blues have had, one chance, I would say, since you were last with us. Just seeing Christian Pulisic dart down the left-hand side. Mentioned he had an injury last time you were around and about, but seems to have shaken off that one. The American has probably been his side's best player going forward so far. That chance, again, good play by Pulisic. Ben Chilwell then involved, got to the byline. Poor mistake by Bukayo Saka. Ball back towards the near post. Elneny was there for Arsenal, just as it looked like Pulisic was about to poke home. Still 1-0 to the Gunners. Chelsea coming forward, though, building their momentum. Gilmour. Chilwell. Now Kurt Zouma. Seeing plenty of the ball are the Chelsea defenders. Azpilicueta into Reece James, who's gone inside. Given away by James, though. Arsenal trying to come forward, but it's got no out ball, and Aubameyang's got to do better when it comes to holding it up, giving his side a focal point. Just nodded it to Thiago Silva on that occasion. Could have brought it down, I thought. Zooming out. Jorginho points where he wants the ball or the runner to go, then just fires it square at Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta does well to control and retain possession. He and Reece James work it between them. Azpilicueta wide again, has played a lot as the right wing back, of course, this season. James now back to Thiago Silva. Jorginho can turn 30 yards out. Azpilicueta on the right hand side slides it. Nice disguised ball to Mount. I don't think Mount was expecting it though, but he retains possession. James again. Kai Havertz wants it into the box, but he showed too much of it to Emil Smith-Rowe. Chelsea though come up with it. Gilmour works it to Zouma. Zouma back to Gilmour. Reece James making an interesting run. Gilmour looks to find him with a scooped ball. Well read though by Kieran Tierney. A handball against Azpilicueta. And the pressure is released. Seeing Chelsea have had 8 attempts to Arsenal's 2 so far. And the goal, the only shot on target for the Gunners, 3 for Chelsea. But no goals so far. Arsenal leading 1-0 at Stamford Bridge. As Bernd Leno appears to clear his lines. As we head towards the break, of course, 2 more games on this service tomorrow evening. Aston Villa against Everton, that's a 6 o'clock kick-off. And 8:15, the rearranged match between Manchester United and Liverpool. Unofficial off-tube studio commentary of both those fixtures. And both playing right on them, of course. Tierney working his way back. The square ball is to El Neni. Now Smith Rowe. Tierney goes back down the line, but Mount reads it. Tierney not happy about the options given to him, I think. Trudges his way back to take the throw. Collects the ball on the far side. Arsenal's attacking left, going left to right on the TV pictures we've got. It's unofficial off-tube studio commentary. That looked like a foul throw by Tierney, but no. El Neni, Odegaard, central position to Saka. Ball's just a bit short, has to go after it. Loses his footing as he finds Odegaard. Odegaard again, misses Saka out. Holding now will give it to the Arsenal number 7. Here he is. Inside right position, cuts in on his left foot. Cruyff turned pass, attempted at least by El Neni, but no good. Taken away by Pulisic. El Neni, though, the good defensive midfielder of the year, sticks to his task and tracks the man back. Gilmour works it back to Kepa, who was right in the middle of his posts at that time after that mistake for the goal. 3 minutes or so of the first half remaining. Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. Unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Azpilicueta breaks forward down the right hand side, hands it over to Reece James. James back inside to Jorginho, the man at fault for the goal. Gilmour now strides forward, finds Pulisic. Pulisic gets past one, but it's a good tackle by Rob Holding. Saka will go back to Bernd Leno, who's just happy to thrash it forward. Only to Kurt Zouma on the halfway line, though. Ben Chilwell now. Gilmour. Half a bad touch, so sensibly works it back to Zouma. Silva, classy defender, brings it forward. Now James wants the option. Works between himself and Mount, and then Azpilicueta again. A bit of pressure on Azpilicueta, so Jorginho takes it off. Gilmour works it wide, and Zouma. Chilwell, Gilmour always available. Jorginho will work it back to Gilmour. Zouma's got a bit of space down the left-hand side because Chilwell's gone inside. Zouma thinks about the cross. No real option, though. Gilmour, will he ever go himself? Worked the half a yard, but then a touch too many. Back to Azpilicueta. James on the right-hand side. All a bit narrow at the moment for Chelsea. Mason Mount. Jorginho. 90 seconds of the opening 45 left. I imagine we'll get at least a minute. Azpilicueta. Gilmour. Partey leads the press. Thought there might have been a half a yard for Chelsea to exploit there, but he did well to get back in his line. Jorginho turns. Azpilicueta. Jorginho again. 30 yards from Arsenal's goal. 30 yards out. Central position is Mason Mount. Gives it away, though, the England man. And maybe a counter-attack's on as Kieran Tierney just kicks it in front of himself and gives chase. I think it was a foul against Thiago Silva. No, it wasn't. There was no real out ball. It was old school play, I would say, by Silva. He turned and put his arms up, protesting his innocence. I think Andre Marin was convinced that Tierney probably wasn't going to get the ball because he hammered it in front of himself. And it would have been some foot race, I think, with Reece James getting back to Gabriel. Brings it forward for Arsenal. Oh, his ball was a paw and he slipped as he played it. Tierney knew it straight away, and he's another one cutting a frustrated figure, I have to say. Kieran Tierney. Kepa gets on with it quickly from the goal kick. Thiago to Azpilicueta. Maybe a feeling that Chelsea have gone to a back four potentially, with James pushing on. Azpilicueta happy, of course, to sit in as the right back. Probably his preferred position. El Neni, heavy touch. Jorginho skips in. Over the halfway line he goes. Havertz needs to stay on side. Advantage being played. There wasn't really one. And, well, Chelsea slow it down. Pretty much a standing start. 1 minute has been added on. Thiago Silva. Is the time for one more attack for the Blues. Zouma into Gilmour. Back to Zouma. Zouma, nice cushion ball into Pulisic. Fouled by Rob Holding. No need for Rob Holding there. Just clipped his ankles as Pulisic was going away. Chelsea get on with it quickly. Thiago Silva into Havertz, who had that early chance, but not a lot since. Gives it away. Emile Smith-Rowe outside the right foot. Fizzes it towards Aubameyang, who holds it up nicely. Now can turn. He's got Tierney down the left-hand side. Tierney tries to drill it back towards either Odegaard or Smith Rowe, who are making their way towards the penalty spot. Good block by the retreating James, though. And a throw into Arsenal on the far side. Can't imagine we'll have too much left of this half. Tierney waits and waits and waits, and there's not enough time to take the throw. Andre Mariner calls time on this first half. A decent game so far. Chelsea have been the better side, but it's Arsenal who lead at half-time, 1-0. Join us shortly for second half coverage. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line, but Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line, but Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line, but Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line, but Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line, but Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line, but Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line, but Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line, but Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing
Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line, but Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break. Half-time, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. The goal came on 14 minutes, and it was a disaster for Jorginho. Chelsea were playing on the edge of the box. Jorginho worked it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, but he'd not figured out that the goalkeeper actually pulled wide to make the angle better. The goalkeeper did really well, scrambling back to clear it off his line, but Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang picked up the seconds, played it back to Emile Smith-Rowe. He did the rest. Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, but Arsenal lead 1-0 at the break.
Well, very warm welcome back to unofficial off-tube studio commentary of our Premier League game this evening. Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1 at the break. Emile Smith-Rowe's goal, the difference between the sides, and news of a change from a Chelsea perspective in this the start of this second half. Callum Hudson-Odoi's come on. Billy Gilmour, the man to go off. I thought Gilmour was arguably Chelsea's best player in the first half, but maybe a tactical switch. I think the young man will feel hard done by. Hudson-Odoi, though, a chance to prove himself ahead of Saturday's final against Leicester at Wembley. Just having a look at see how Chelsea are now lining up. It looks like Mason Mount's just dropped one further back and will play as a central midfield player in this second half. Arsenal were very defensive in the first half, holding on to that goal. And maybe Thomas Tuchel just wants to take the game to the Gunners a bit more. Gareth Southgate will be interested in seeing Mason Mount play a bit deeper as well, I think. So the lineup then: Arrizabalaga in goal for Chelsea, Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva and Zouma the back three, with Reece James, Mason Mount, Jorginho and Ben Chilwell across the middle of the park. Christian Pulisic, Callum Hudson-Odoi and Kai Havertz in attack. Similar 3-4-3-4. Arsenal, Bernd Leno the goalkeeper, upholding Pablo Mari and Gabriel Magalhaes. The back three. Bukayo Saka's playing as a right wing back. Kieran Tierney on the left, Mohamed Elneny and Thomas Partey in the middle of the park. Martin Odegaard and Emile Smith-Rowe supporting Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Chelsea in possession. Zouma, heavy touch, but Arsenal very deep, so no pressure on him. Can just about keep the ball in play. Azpilicueta will look to find Callum Hudson-Odoi. It wasn't a great ball though, well read by Emile Smith-Rowe. Hudson-Odoi dropping off and dropping deep. Has he gone as the false nine with Havertz playing from the right? We'll see how things progress. Silva, he's got Zouma, and Zouma fizzes it to Jorginho. Mason Mount, wasn't a great ball. Jorginho throws his hands up in frustration. He was the man that fought for the goal. Back pass almost went straight in. Kepa pulled wide to avert such danger. Had the ball perhaps slipping under his foot. Jorginho, at first touch wasn't the best. I think he maybe panicked, didn't quite look. It wasn't a great ball. Fizzed in by James to Havertz. Havertz goes down. No penalty shout. So not a particularly vocal one, but Havertz asked the question. Still play on. Hudson-Odoi, Jorginho, Reece James round the corner from Hudson-Odoi, but Tierney reads it well. And then he gets a bad foul there by Reece James. Kieran Tierney was caught on the ankle. And, well, I don't know how the officials did not see that. It's not malicious by James, but he's definitely caught him. Kai Havertz was, no, the touch was a heavy one. He was kind of sandwiched by Gabriel, and I think it was Partey. But Holding was always going to clear. My immediate concern is more with Tierney, who caught a sore one from Reece James there. Scotland have had a bad old couple of weeks of injuries ahead of the Euros, and Tierney will be desperate to play. He's had his injury issues this season. Looks to be okay though, the Glaswegian. Born in the Isle of Man actually, wasn't he? I think Kieran Tierney sprints after Reece James. James just about keeps it in, but not a lot to play with, so just Bout kept in. Had to chip it back. Emile Smith-Rowe now gives it away. Pulisic is pass back to Zuma wasn't the best, but Zuma does exceptionally well to play it square to Chilwell. Got past a couple of would-be tacklers as well there, did Zuma. And Kepa comes out, calms everyone down. Thiago Silva to Mason Mount. Kurt Zuma's on the outside of him. Ben Chilwell one further left, hugging the touchline. Chelsea going left to right on our TV pitch in the second half. It's unofficial Off-Tube studio commentary. The Blues in blue shirts and shorts with the white socks. Arsenal red shirts, white trim, white shorts and the red socks. James Azpilicueta, Silva now, all for the outfield players at least, for both sides in the Arsenal half. Bernd Leno as well, of course. Kepa, can't see him, but I probably think he's about 30 yards of his own goal. Almost a spectator, the Spaniard. Chelsea could go third tonight with a victory, but stay in fourth. 6 points advantage on West Ham, but West Ham do have a game in hand. And of course Liverpool play Manchester United tomorrow, have 2 games in hand. Hudson-Odoi, ball across the box, away by Pablo Mari. Thiago Silva just nods it to Jorginho. And Zuma opens his body up nicely and finds Mason Mount. Mount can get his head down, scamper forward. Ball wasn't quite in Chilwell's path, so checks his run, but gets it back from Mount. Mount will look to cross. Pulisic playing in front of the Chelsea back 4 here. Jorginho goes forward, Gabriel heads it away. Havertz, tall player, wins it ahead of Elneny in the air, but it comes to nothing in the end. Ball bounced back to Bernd Leno, all in black this evening at the Germany International. Usual short sleeves as well. Takes his time and bowls it out to Gabriel, who puts Emil Smith Rowe in all sorts of trouble with that pass, but he's as well the youngster, and Kieran Tierney takes it on. Arsenal have got men coming forward here. Odegaard, central position, works his way to Bukayo Saka. Advantage being played. Saka gets into the box, tries to turn inside Chilwell, then back on the outside. And, well, Saka's just had one of those nights tonight. Happens to a lot of young players. Excellent again this season, arguably Arsenal's best player. But nothing's worked for him, playing in unfamiliar positions. A right wing back as well, it's worth noting. Now Nenny back to Odegaard. And Pablo Mari, Elneny and Odegaard again. Elneny and Mari. Partey, Elneny, keeping it nicely Arsenal. Pablo Mari working to Gabriel, the Brazilian defender. First time I saw Gabriel actually was playing against Chelsea in the Champions League. Whoa! Reece James slips with a back pass this time though. Kepa was working it back and coolly brought it down on his chest, but that was another moment. And of course the goal for Arsenal came from a back pass, Jorginho's, that almost went in directly. Did well there, the goalkeeper, who's had little to do this evening, barring picking the ball out of his net, and not a lot he could have done about that either. Zuma into Mason Mount, runs onto it past Odegaard, still going Mason Mount into the box, played it off to Pulisic, maybe could have gone on himself. Pulisic turns and gets past Partey. Partey gets a touch in there though, and out for, is it a corner, is it a goal kick? I think it's a corner kick by Thomas Tuchel's body language. 52 and a half on the clock. Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. Unofficial Off-Tube studio commentary. The Blues big boys coming forward. It's Zuma and Thiago Silva. Havertz in there too. Oh, almost on Havertz's head. Gabriel got it away just in front of him. The party misreads it. It's a real old scramble. Zuma's in there. Jorginho too. And Partey comes away but gives it away. Well played, Ben Chilwell. Chilwell back to Azpilicueta. Square to Callum Hudson-Odoi. Jorginho works it square to Chilwell now. Mount into Zuma. Azpilicueta will open his body. And Hudson-Odoi comes inside. Just enough there from Gabriel. It was a good tackle by the Brazilian. Put into a bit of an unenvious position now by Emil Smith Rowe though, trying to dribble his way out of a bit of trouble there. And the Arsenal number 32 just puts his hand up in apology actually to Gabriel, but no harm done in the end. Throwing Kieran Tierney to take it. You've got to say Arsenal, it's going to be a long second half if they're going to play like this all the way through. Very, very deep. Tierney, good delivery down the line into the chest of Thiago. Aubameyang outnumbered again. Look at the options on the bench, they've got him. Willian, Matt Ryan the goalkeeper, Nicolas Pepe, Gabriel Martinelli, Cedric Suarez, Hector Bellerin, Dani Ceballos, Alexander Lacazette and Callum Chambers. So there are bodies there for Arsenal. Chelsea bench, Marcos Alonso, Timo Werner, Olivier Giroud, Florian Angerin, Vinny Livramento, Edouard Mendy the goalkeeper, Emerson, Hakim Ziyech, and well, no longer Hudson Odoi because he's come on. That's a wasteful ball from him. Valentino Livramento hoping to make his debut this evening. Ball into the feet of Havertz. Havertz can turn and rather than go for goal himself, James now, who's not the greatest ball back to Hudson Odoi. Standing start, leaning back and well over the crossbar in the end. Out for a goal kick. It feels like more of the same so far in the second half. Plenty of possession for Chelsea, but lacking chances, really. Nothing from that point of view to write home about so far in the second half. Chelsea did make a change at the break, a tactical one. Callum Hudson-Odoi's come on. Billy Gilmour's gone off. Gilmour was excellent in the first half. Maybe is that an eye towards the weekend? I'm not quite sure. Mason Mount's dropped one deeper, so he's playing it as a number 8. And, well, Hudson-Odoi has taken his place on the right-hand side of the attack. Kai Havertz looking more dangerous, but like I say, chances few and far between for the Blues. Arsenal happy to sit deep. Still 1-0 to the Gunners. Again, Havertz got through a couple of tackles there. They are not interested. Maybe a call for a foul on him. Pablo Mari not to have upended him, but no can do as far as the video official was concerned. Jorginho works it to James in towards the near post. Oh, Havertz just needed to put a toe out there. I think the ball was just too strong for him. That was good. That's the best we've seen from James, actually. Whipped it in. Yeah, it was just ahead of Havertz, doing him a disservice, I think it's fair to say. Arsenal again playing deep. They're so deep. Throw-in this time. They can't play that forever. Action areas, 45% of the play has been in Arsenal's own third. That tells its own story. 43 in the middle third. Timo Werner's gone for a run. I think he's just been called back. Olivier Giroud as well. Might not be too far away. As Tierney prepares to take this throw. Ooh, shape to go back to goalkeeper Bernd Leno. And held it off. Hudson-Odoi bought it, but then delayed. There's a foul there by Partey. And now we're going to see a change here. Andre Mariner blows the whistle, points towards the halfway line. Another sure one for Tierney. And on the shin, and oh, he doesn't look good. He's covering his face, he's in pain, he's had injury problems, and Scotland are losing players, it seems. All the time. Oh yeah, Callum Hudson-Odoi. Kieran Tierney got there in front of him. Hudson-Odoi's his foot's high and it catches him on the outside of the knee. Painful one for the Scot. Rueful look on his face. Mikel Arteta using this pause in the play to get some tactical instruction on Hector Bellerin. Could be the man who comes into the game should the Gunners make that change. Cedric Suarez has played as a left wing back, of course, hasn't he? Seeing 2 goals and 2 assists in his 11 appearances against Chelsea for Bellerin. Back on. Tierney's back on as well, fortunately. Bit of a warrior, isn't he, the former Celtic man? He won't want to go off. As Aubameyang just puts a bit of pressure on Thiago Silva. And Kepa into Azpilicueta, the 2 Basque players combining. Both of those will be hoping to be in part of Spain's set up in the summer, won't they? Kepa was the number 1 when he lost his place really at Chelsea, with David De Gea not playing regularly. Bit of a conundrum, I think, for Luis Enrique between the posts for Spain. As Mason Mount brings it over the halfway line. Robert Sanchez at Brighton's potential option. Unai Simon at Athletic Bilbao too. Hudson-Odoi, James, Azpilicueta, those 3 working nicely down the right hand side. Pulisic wanted it. Jorginho, as his pass forward smashed away by Tierney. Heading towards the hour, it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. Unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Silva hangs it up high, looking for Chilwell. Saka's touch was an awkward one. He's a left footer, of course, playing on the right hand side. And, well, his touch headed out for a corner kick. Olivier Giroud's doing his laces up, suggesting he isn't too far away. As Mason Mount, corner kick. Havertz is there, it's a glancing header. Pulisic is in. Is he offside though? They'll have a look at this one. The flag hasn't initially gone up, but we'll bide our time. The scoreboard has changed to Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1. Pulisic seems quite confident about it all. Where's he start? Oh, he's miles offside. Yes, this goal will be ruled out. Surely he seems to be... Yeah, he's 3 or 4 yards offside. And that's not a good offside trap that Arsenal went to sleep there, I would suggest. Or did it come off a Gunners player, so he was onside? Well, Andre Mariners picked up the ball. VAR decision, offside was the call. A moment of confusion. Bit of a smile from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang too. And it remains 1-0. Still 1-0 to Arsenal, but Chelsea thought they were back on level terms. Christian Pulisic bundling the ball home from a Mason Mount corner kick. It was an in-swing into the middle of the box. Bit of a scramble. Pulisic had drifted in at the back post, unmarked, chested it home. However, the initial thought was that he was offside. He suggested he wasn't, but replay suggested otherwise. Clearly offside, the American. It remains Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. As Azpilicueta works it back to Kepa. Now, I think set pieces have been a positive for Chelsea this evening, because Arsenal, again, they've just gone to sleep a bit at times. Bellerin looks like he's coming on. I would suggest for Tierney. Tierney won't want to go off. Seems to be moving okay now. There's a ball over the top. Gabriel gives chase ahead of Callum Hudson-Odoi. Solid tonight, Gabriel. Hudson-Odoi still to really get into the game. As El Neni fouls Jorginho. The Egyptian's not too impressed. Bellerin moments away, but of course he's, as is the way with modern footballs, it seems, he's not quite taped his socks or put his shin pads on. Not ready to come just yet, as James dinks it in. Good play by Gabriel. Hudson-Odoi now. Back to James. Azpilicueta's there. They choose to use the Spaniard. He'll roll his right foot over it and work it back to Thiago Silva, the deepest of Chelsea's outfield players, and he's only 30 yards from Arsenal's goal. Zuma has it now. No options ahead of him. He makes that point as he goes back to Thiago Silva. Silva would have stun it towards Ben Chilwell, over the top of him though. Out for a goal kick to Arsenal, but they are getting deeper and deeper. Bellerin ready to go. A couple of instructions from Mikel Arteta. Bernd Leno takes the goal kick before Bellerin can come on. Now Hudson-Odoi breaks towards the box, still going. Can he get the shot away? Goes square to Chilwell. It's just ahead of Chilwell. And he has to run. Oh, he's offside, in fact. Hudson-Odoi. Reece James, yeah, Hudson-Odoi was miles offside. And again, the assistant had to bide his time. And it would be Saka who actually comes off. And I suppose more of a natural fit in that right wing role. Steve Round gives him a few last instructions. Saka makes his way towards the dugout. A frustrating evening for the England youngster. He'll have other good ones though, won't it? Such a talented player. De Bellerin. Rumours regarding his future as Giroud comes on for Chelsea at the same time. Kai Havertz with an excellent chance early doors, the man making way. Still not 100% sure of his position, I don't think, at Chelsea. Centre forward this evening on the false 9 play at Leverkusen. I mean, played more as a number 10, I think, during his youth. Havertz, though, 65 minutes in his legs. Will he be in action for the weekend against Leicester in the FA Cup final, though? Tierney back to Elneny. Aubameyang into Odegaard. Now Bellerin, first touch for him. Gets out his feet and works it back to Holding. Pablo Mari, the spare man in the back three, gives it to Gabriel, forward by the Brazilian. Aubameyang turns and drifts wide and gives it to Smith Rowe. Nice interplay between Smith Rowe and Tierney. Tierney searching ball towards Bellerin. On to Odegaard. Oh, didn't fancy it on his right foot. Bellerin then gets the shot away. Comfortable for Azpilicueta rather. But Odegaard, if he swung at it with his right foot, maybe experience told him it wasn't a good idea as Tierney fouls Pulisic. Seeing that move again. Tierney searching ball to Bellerin. Great first touch. Back heel by Odegaard. And Bellerin couldn't quite wrap his right foot around it as Mason Mount drifts forward into Hudson-Odoi. Jorginho. Chilwell. Hudson-Odoi. Jorginho's asking the question, where's the option? Drew gives them a more direct option now, doesn't he? Zuma goes for goal, but over the crossbar. And Thomas Tuchel not impressed. Shakes his head. Gives it a sigh there, the German. Who's obviously done a magnificent job since coming in. But this could be a third defeat for him at home. Of course, one of those was in Seville against Porto in the second leg of the Champions League, so maybe doesn't quite count, but they did lose 5-2 against West Brom in a wonderful game. Other than that, pretty good, I think it's fair to say, from Thomas Tuchel. Could finish the season with 2 bits of silverware and a top 4 place, which was if you'd offered that the Chelsea board that on January the 26th and he walked through the door, I think they would have been shocked. As Odegaard shows too much of it to Zuma, uses his body nicely and strokes it to Ben Chilwell. He'll fizz it for, looking for Giroud. Pablo Mari gets the header in. Hudson-Odoi then tackles Thomas Partey and the break's on. Pulisic, left centre, works it wide to Hudson-Odoi. Back onto his right foot, takes his time there. Does Hudson-Odoi show too much of it to Rob Holding? Arsenal then try and play their way out of danger. Well, Nenny's missed it, and a missed kick all round by Giroud. His missed kick, El Neni, kind of fell over the ball. It just took too long. It was not great football by either side there. That was a rusty finish there by Giroud, I think it's fair to say. Tried to run onto the ball, hit it first time with his left foot. But sliced it wide. Timo Werner arches his back over his seat in the stand. We'll hope for his chance. One change left for Chelsea. Hudson-Odoi and Giroud on so far. 2 changes for Arsenal. Bellerin, their only man to come on. As Gabriel barges into Pulisic. What a feeling that might be. It was an accidental one, really. He was watching the ball come out of the sky and they kind of collided, and that's what Andre Brown, I think, is trying to say. Right, a bit of a dead leg, I think, for... oh yeah, it's just his knee goes into Pulisic's thigh. So a sore one for the American. So nothing deliberate from Gabriel there. Pulisic understandably taking his time getting up. Gabriel says sorry for the inconvenience. And we prepare to get on. 20 minutes left. Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. Unofficial off-tube studio commentary. And a throw into the Gunners. Kieran Tierney with it. Seems to have shaken off the second of a couple of knocks he's had so far. Mostly back to Gabriel. Pablo Mari will look to Rob Holding. Holding forward ball into Odegaard. Nice scoop pass to Bellerin, and Thomas Partey can bring it forward. Smith Rowe's in acres of space. Smith Rowe, the goal scorer, of course. El Neni now. Smith Rowe, he'll open his body up. He's got a runner in Tierney. Uses him too. Tierney across the near post. Aubameyang can't get it. Odegaard with a shot at the back post. Is well over. I think he struck it into the ground. He gives a thumbs up to Tierney. Tierney's such a good outlet on this left-hand side, isn't he? Smith Rowe finds Tierney. Good ball back as well. I think he was actually looking towards Odegaard, who had acres of space. He just pulled off Ben Chilwell. It wasn't to be, though. And Arsenal remain 1-0 up. But enjoying a bit more joy on the break, you feel. Very, very deep defensively. I wonder if Chelsea will get another chance. Of course, had that goal ruled out. Pulisic offside. And still Emile Smith Rowe's 14th minute strike. The difference between the teams. Azpilicueta on the right hand side for Chelsea. Fires into Reece James, who has to check his run. The ball's half a yard behind him. Jorginho now, central position, 30 yards out, going left to right on our TV pitches. Unofficial off-tube studio commentary. All of Chelsea's outfield players in the Arsenal half. Mount, Hudson-Odoi, Chilwell, Hudson-Odoi, Jorginho. Hudson-Odoi's got a bit of space on the left-hand side. Dinks it towards Giroud. Was he edged out the way there by Pablo Mari? No complaints, I have to say, by the Frenchman. So good defending then, you would have to suggest. Just clips it towards Giroud. And out for a goal kick. Bernd Leno made a couple of very good saves in the first half. I'd say he's not a lot to do in this second. Clears his lines with this goal kick. Aubameyang heads it on ahead of Azpilicueta, but the seconds is picked up by Thiago Silva. Always so aware of his positioning. Always got time, hasn't he, Thiago? Jorginho, Azpilicueta. See, Chelsea have already had 3 shots on target this evening. James round the corner, gives it though to Emile Smith Rowe. And Tierney into Aubameyang. His touch is a heavy one though. Jorginho, Pulisic, arguably Chelsea's best player of the second half at least. Gilmour for me was the best player of the first half, but taken off at half time. Hudson-Odoi coming on. Hudson-Odoi struggled to get into the game. But I have to say, I'd speculate if Chelsea weren't behind the way Gilmour was playing, I would suggest he'd been rested for the FA Cup final against Leicester, but I'm not quite sure that is the case. But he really was excellent in that first half. I think it'd be Jorginho and Kante in the middle of the park for the Blues. Yeah, they're both fit, of course. Heading into the weekend, Mateo Kovacic touch and go, I think, for Wembley. Same story of Andreas Christensen. As Zuma nods it out for a throw on the far side, and Arsenal happy to take the time, as you'd imagine. Bellerin with the throw, winds up, then thinks better of it, and he's probably bought himself about 5 yards there. Throw to Odegaard. Was a handball by Bellerin. Mason Mount's making the point, but no go as far as Andre Marin is concerned. Gabriel comes forward, tells Kieran Tierney just to check his run a bit. As Partey plays a nice 1-2 of Emil Smith-Rowe, and Smith-Rowe gets it out his feet and then comes inside into the box. Little nutmeg on Thiago Silva. That could have been very good on the Arsenal number 32. Broke down in the end, but Arsenal picking up the second ball now, which will worry Thomas Tuchel. Smith-Rowe gets outside Azpilicueta, and Kieran Tierney's there. Tierney whacked to get off the ball by Reece James. He's been in the wars. Surely I think that'll be a yellow card against James, not the first time. And I feel for Tierney because, well, his boots come off there. So he was obviously caught by James. Arsenal still leading as we head into the final stages of the game at Stamford Bridge. Just seen a lovely run by Emil Smith-Rowe. Of course, the man who looks like he's going to be the match winner thanks to that 14th minute goal from the Gunners number 32. Chances have been few and far between, I think it's fair to say. Martin Odegaard fired over a nice counter-attack. Good play by Kieran Tierney. He's been excellent down the left-hand side, but the Norwegian unable to present the finish. Chelsea have brought on Callum Hudson-Odoi as their second substitution. Hector Bellerin's also joined the party, replacing Bukayo Saka, who has just had one of those nights. Saka, ultimately a right wing-back role, couldn't quite get into the game, and Bellerin's come on to shore things up on the right-hand side. Still 1-0 to Arsenal away at Chelsea. As again, Chelsea move it around their backline. I'd be asking for a bit more purpose if I was Thomas Tuchel, I think. And here comes Hudson-Odoi. That's real purpose still going. Hudson-Odoi bundles his way through. A couple of deflections in there, but it was nice intent by Hudson-Odoi. Earned his luck, I think, but couldn't quite bring it down. Chelsea, Hudson-Odoi. Have it, Chilwell wide, static. Back to Jorginho. Work it down the line to Hudson-Odoi. Have a look for the flag to the Arsenal players, but it's play on. Chilwell's ball in, up off the shoulder of Bellerin, and away. And foul on Thomas Partey. Another change coming. Andre Mariner looks towards the bench, and Hakim Ziyech will be the man to the third and final sub for Chelsea. It says that Azpilicueta, the man going off. So that's definitely a tactical change. Reece James will go back four now for the Blues. And Ziyech looks like he's going to come on, well, right down the middle as a number 10. As the Lacazette not too far away as far as Arsenal are concerned. Scored in the reverse fixture, a 3-1 victory for the Gunners. Looked like the season was on the up after that game, but things haven't quite worked out, have they? For Mikel Arteta's men, 9th in the table coming into this one. But still a potential long shot, I suppose, at Europe This moves them up to 8th in the table, but having played a couple of games more than some of the teams, including Liverpool, who play tomorrow night. Above them there at Manchester United, you can catch that 8:15 on this service, 6 o'clock as well. It's Villa against Everton. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang will be the man to come off. Shakes his head in frustration. Tough old night, I think it's fair to say, for the Gabon international. Signed a big contract recently, but will he be off in the summer? Body language ain't the greatest, I have to say, from the former Dortmund man. Not a lot of eye contact. We'll give the armband to Lacazette. Doesn't take the doesn't reciprocate the high fives or anything like that after coming off either Aubameyang. As Arsenal take the goal kick short, Pablo Mari floats it towards Lacazette. James is in there, won by Ziyech second time round. Now Ben Chilwell into Hudson-Odoi. Is Giroud offside? No, play on. He is offside. Late flag again. One of those situations, I think, where it's a frustration for everyone, isn't the late flag, but the right thing to do. Lets the play develop. Thomas Tuchel deep in conversation with one of his assistants, but of course no more changes to make. And it seems a rare night of frustration for the German coach. As hooked on this time by Mason Mount, lost by El Neni. Pulisic into Ziyech. Spreads the play, ball is behind Chilwell though. Chilwell turns and gives it back to Ziyech. Now Hudson-Odoi. Jorginho. Silva. James. Pulisic back to James, who wraps his left foot around it. Onto the head of Giroud. Drifts wide though of the upright. Giroud facing his former club, of course. Shake of the head from Thomas Tuchel. Big game, of course, on Saturday. The cup final goes without saying. Remaining Premier League fixtures, Leicester City away, so a Leicester double header for Chelsea. That's at home. Aston Villa away concludes their campaign. Of course, the matter of the Champions League final on the 29th, a game you can catch on this service, 8 o'clock against Manchester City. On that occasion, Arsenal, they've got Crystal Palace this time next week, 7 o'clock, and Arsenal then at home to Brighton on the final day of the season. I can tell you, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is not a happy boy. He's sat on his own, which is the way, isn't it, of course, under the current restrictions, but he's not put a bib on or a coat or anything. He's just sat there, he's looking glum, almost a Rodin pose with his fists supporting his head, not talking to anybody. And that might be something that we need to keep an eye on as far as transfer speculation goes. Ziyech whips it towards Hudson-Odoi. That is great play. Hector Bellerin. Rob Holding knows as well. Straight across to him to congratulate the Spaniard. And we're just going to have a pause in play. Bellerin's gone down. I think he may have tweaked something there. Stretch him. Andre Mariner suggests that he's stopped the watch. Bellerin, I think that might be the end of his evening. Was great ball in by Ziyech and a great bit of play by Bellerin. I think it's actually his standing leg. He stretches with his right leg and his left leg awkwardly lands and kind of folds on itself, in fact. And the left knee is the area they're treating. Callum Chambers is stripped and ready to go. It looks like he's going to be needed as well. The signal given by the physio Yes, Bellerin's night was a short one. Aubameyang has now put a coat on, but it does not look happy at all. Yeah, I don't think he'll be very good company at the moment. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang for his a recent substitution. One change left for Arsenal, of course. And, well, is Bellerin going to continue? In fact, well, it seems to be working okay. The physio's worked his magic. Corner kick, of course, for Chelsea. Mason Mount ready to deliver. Mount, 3 deliberate steps back and crosses towards the near post. Lacazette with the header away. Odegaard can't quite complete the clearance. Ben Chilwell at the edge of the box. Just tries to chip it over the top towards Kurt Zouma. Wasn't a great ball, I have to say, out for a goal kick. Bellerin is back in the game. Callum Chambers goes for a wander down the touchline to get himself warm. Maybe he was going to come on anyway at some point. One change left for Arsenal. And he might come on as a defensive midfielder, extra centre-half. Really versatile player, isn't he, Chambers? Excelled at right back in recent weeks when I've seen him. As Leno's clearing goal kick. Takes one bounce over the head of Ben Chilwell. He's happy to let it go for a throw-in. Gets on with it quickly. Kepa Arrizabalaga, who's had hardly anything to do. 1 of 7 changes for Chelsea this evening. Barely featured in the game. But it's the Blues who are trailing 1-0. Well, Leno made a couple of excellent saves in the first half, but in fairness, he's not been tested either. Hudson-Odoi on the outside his right foot, really nice ball. Skillful bit of play, but no one read it. Giroud doesn't give you that presence to run in behind, does it? And not really put the ball up for him to header either. Since he replaced Kai Havertz. He had a great chance in the first half, but spurned it 1-on-1 with Leno. Giroud does that well though, doesn't he? Holds up the ball and brings people into play. Callum Hudson-Odoi, first time right-footed ball in there. It's there, it's Pulisic. The ball though wouldn't sit for him. And bundles into the hands of Bernd Leno, who's coming across Pulisic, who was on the stretch. Nice idea by Hudson-Odoi, but Pulisic couldn't get the contact he wanted. Again, I think it was Bellerin who went down on his haunches, suggesting he's still feeling the effects of that injury. And yes, Bernd Leno's bowled the ball out. And Bellerin shakes his head and says, yes, I'm not going to be able to carry on now. And we are really deep into the game. Really into the final stages. Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. Emil Smith-Rowe's 14th minute goal. The difference as things stand. Chances-wise in the second half, well, there have not been very many of them, I have to say. Chelsea have been disappointing on the front foot. Arsenal have been the better side going forward. Rare forays forward. They're happy to sit back. 5-4-1 is their default formation without the ball, and it's served them well so far. Martin Odegaard's had the best chance of the second half, firing over Kieran Tierney's ball into him. Hector Bellerin has come on, and now he's had to go off as well. He just tweaked his left knee, I think, as he was retreating to clear a Hakim Ziyech ball over the top. Ziyech's off the bench, as is Olivier Giroud, but Chelsea not quite firing all cylinders going forward. It's still 1-0 to the Gunners. As Tierney breaks forward. Square ball. Odegaard controls, then goes back to El Neni. Tierney just sets himself. And Pablo Mari now. He's looked assured as the spare man at the back for Arsenal. Reece James' head is not quite strong enough. Thiago Silva saunters across. I was a bit worried, but he wasn't. And it ties things up. Kepa under a bit of pressure. Chelsea are playing around at the back. It's back to the goalkeeper. We'll find Jorginho. And trying to build up now. Pulisic drops the shoulder across the goal. It's behind everyone in a blue shirt, away by Gabriel. James picks up the seconds on the edge of the box. Ziyech gives it back to the Englishman. Now Pulisic works his way into the box. Crosses, but not past Kieran Tierney. Blocked by the Scot. Out for a corner kick. Mason Mount will come across the take. Sprints across in his sky blue boots. The Chelsea number 19. Zouma and Silva up from the back. Jorginho's in there too. Giroud, of course, he'll look to attack it. Ball's not a good one though. Second corner in a row that Lacazette has cleared at the near post. Odegaard misses his kick. That allows Silva and James to dovetail nicely. Silva will hang the ball up towards Giroud at the back post. Holding's reading that all day. Emile Smith-Rowe's taken out by the referee, so he can't chase the ball. Chilwell puts the ball into the box. Gabriel, uncertain header away. Picked up at the back post by Mount. James, Ziyech, central position. Thought about shooting with his left foot. Then slides it towards Mount. Well-read Kieran Tierney. Hammers it away. Thiago Silva on the halfway line. Mount's down here. I didn't quite see why or how. We'll maybe get a replay. Ziyech swings in. Zouma, great header, great save by Leno onto the crossbar. Oh, it's on the bar again by Giroud this time. He thought he'd scored. I'm not quite sure how he did. It was a great effort, hooking it over his right shoulder with his right foot. Pulisic has the ball. Mount's back in the game. Pulisic wide, found by Jorginho. Chilwell will pick up the pieces. Zouma couldn't quite head it. Chilwell drives it in. Chambers gets the header away. Hudson-Odoi this time into the box. Mount with the header. Gabriel away. Ball still not got out. So if there was an incident with Mount, we've not been able to check it yet. James has got Pulisic. Good ball in by James. Away by Thomas Partey. Emile Smith-Rowe smashes it clear. Well, yeah, Zouma, then Giroud, the French connection, wasn't it? Both hitting the crossbar, both failing to get that goal. 6 minutes added on. Chelsea have got time. Mount into the box. Arsenal standing strong, though. Having to go backwards. Hudson-Odoi offside. No. Callum Hudson-Odoi needs to look along the line there. Kurt Zouma, great header. I think it was a save. It is a fabulous leap by Zouma, actually. And yes, what a touch that is by Bernd Leno onto the crossbar. Seconds up. Giroud, he can't have struck it any better with the inside of his right foot going away from goal. Cannoned against the angle between post and bar. Chelsea, yeah, the chances haven't been big in numbers, but they've been good ones when they've got them. Obviously, Pulisic had his effort ruled out for offside. Twice have hit the woodwork in that period of play. Arsenal done well. Lacazette holding the ball up. Out for a throw. Callum Chambers will take it. Right edge of the box. Arsenal going right to left in this second half. Again, suspicions of a foul throw. Lacazette, though, will make the most of it. Chambers and Odegaard keep it between them. Callum Hudson-Odoi is going back towards his own goal. And, well, Kepa gets it off him. Feeds it to James. James wants to go backwards rather than forwards. Now he'll go forwards. Running with Emile Smith-Rowe. Good sliding challenge by Smith-Rowe. The match winner as things stand. 14 minutes. 14 minutes his goal came. And I just paused because James took the throw from about 15 yards away or further forward than where the ball went out. Andre Marino was quick to it. Mikel Arteta was not shy in making the point as Kepa hangs the ball forward. Zouma looks like he's gone up to play as an auxiliary centre forward. The ball's rolled to him. Goes for goal again. Second time. Failed to hit the target. Was there a deflection in amongst all that though? His body language suggested there was, and yes, Reece James comes across to take this corner kick. Mason Mount failed to beat the first man, the last two. Can James do any better? Thomas Tuchel deep in conversation with a colleague. Digs out the ball towards the back post, James. It's Giroud with the header. El Neni replies, and Smith Rowe on the turn volleys away. Played best part 3.5 of the 6th added on. Hudson-Odoi hangs it up. Giroud and Zuma getting each other's way. It's a ricochet, and somehow it finds Rob Holding. A break could be on here. Odegaard into the feet of Lacazette. He's got Thomas Partey with him. Lacazette will hold, and now find Partey into the box. No intention of going for goal at the moment, Partey. Heading towards the area. He's gone down. Is this a penalty kick? No, it's the opposite. It's a dive, according to Andre Marin. Of course, they will check it. Partey's not hanging about, though. Yellow card for the Ghanaian. First of the game. That could have been late drama scene. And again, Lacazette rolls it through to Partey, going away from goal. And, I thought he was clipped there. He wanted to go down, but he was certainly clipped by Callum Hudson-Odoi. 5th booking of the season for Thomas Partey. And maybe a touch unfortunate there. James, right-hand side. Into Pulisic now. Darts down the line. Can he get the cross in? Just about. Giroud controls at the near post. Rolls it back to Hakim Ziyech. Left-footed ball is high, and Bernd Leno comes and takes it and does well to stay inside the pitch as well. The danger of going out. Thomas Tuchel deep in thought. Mikel Arteta asking for official Lee Mason. How long's left? Just over a minute, I would suggest, to the Spaniard. Silva nods it back to Kepa. Ben Chilwell. Forward. Can Reece James get on to Giroud's flick on? Great pace by Emile Smith Rowe to make life difficult for him, but James gets there. Now Ziyech gets the shot away. Woo, off the head of Gabriel up in the air. Not quite sure how much he knew about it. It bounces. There's a lot of wrestling going on in that Arsenal box, but it's away by Smith Rowe. Kepa on the halfway line. Rolls it into the feet of Chilwell. Now Silva. Ziyech almost playing as a centre-half at the moment. Drops his left foot underneath the ball. Giroud chests it down towards Mount. Second to Jorginho's. Pulisic gets the shot away. Kieran Tierney with the block. There will be one more corner kick. Chelsea need a good delivery. Reece James will again be the man to take it. Thomas Tuchel can hardly look. James receives the ball. Puts it in the quadrant. Left arm up. That usually means near post. Digs out a decent ball. The heads go. It's Holding with the header. Silva's in there too. Was that a foul on Odegaard? Gabriel slices it away. Bernd Leno asks the question, have we played the 6 minutes? One more chance maybe for Chelsea. James, ball into the box. Gabriel away. Oh, and it falls off the feet of Jorginho, who's had one of those nights, I'm afraid, the Italian international. And out for a goal kick. Gabriel, excellent throughout, have to say. Covering that near post. Jorginho couldn't control, slams it in frustration against the advertising hoarding. I think that might well be it. Bernd Leno bears to take this goal kick. Has a drink as well to kill a few more seconds. Andre Marino works his way up towards the halfway line. Leno still not planted the ball. He'll go across his own 6-yard line. No yellow card suggests it's all but a formality. The game is almost up. Thomas Tuchel not impressed, you have to say. I've not quite been there this evening. Played a lot of football. A lot of games still to come as Leno fires it towards the touchline. Emile Smith Rowe's 14th minute goal makes the difference. First win at Stamford Bridge for Arsenal since 2011. It's finished Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1.